Happy Monday, everyone. It is Make It Monday, and this is Cindy Fodor with Stamp the Love. And I am so excited to show you some fun projects tonight. I'm just trying to get to my right screen here so I can make sure that we are streaming okay. And so thank you for joining me. I hope that you will learn along with me tonight. I have been playing, as I put in the description, with a new product for, let's see, ever since the catalog has been in, which is about a month, a little over a month. And I am really excited to share this with you tonight. I have not exhausted all of the ways to use this product, but I think I'm going to give you some really fun ways that you can use it. So let me just stop talking so I can focus on what I'm trying to do here. Let's see, we are looking for a live, which is taking forever. So I'm just going to check my, okay, looks like we're going. Sometimes this phone does not want to cooperate. It doesn't always take me down to where I need to be. Okay, here we go. All right, we have sound, and I think you can see me. Okay. All right, so what is the product that I have been alluding to? What do you think it is? Hi, Talara. How are you? Good to have you. So, Talara, I was just, and Karen, hey. So I was just doing an introduction to what I'm going to share. So what do you think, what product do you think I might be talking about? But it's in the new catalog. It's in, yeah, the catalog that just came out last month. And yeah, has a lot of facets to it. And do you want me to just tell you what it is? All right. Hi, Sylvia. Good to have you guys here. It is our Soft Pastels. Okay. Been playing with them for a bit. I will admit I have been watching a lot of videos because they're very, on the surface, they're very different from our old pastels. So I'm going to teach you a couple of ways to use them. I did include this as a gift for our shopping day, our, yeah, what do I want to say? Our free shipping day. So this was one of the little added bonuses, and I had I think 6 people take advantage of that offer. So for those 6 of you, I'm excited for you that you will have this product as soon as it gets here, which I think it's going to be in this week. So let's get started. I'm so excited to have you guys with me. Yes, Talara Pastels, good guess. All right, so they're called Soft Pastels. Let me just introduce them to you a little bit. I'm going to switch over to here so that you can see on the box, it will tell you what the colors are. And I have to, I'm trying to keep them in order so that, especially as I'm demoing. Coastal Cabana, Daffodil Delight, Gorgeous Grape, Granny Apple Green, Mango Melody, Mossy Meadow, Night of Navy, and Poppy Parade. And I'm going to show you how I even make these into more colors. And they all fit down in this little thing, which is great. But I will tell you, as I'm using them, rather than having to pull them out all the time, I just keep them propped like this on the edge, and it works great. Okay, so what makes them different from our old chalks or pastels, if you guys were around back then? One of the things is that these come with a film on the edge that makes it really smooth and nice to hold on to. I have to tell you, I have an aversion to things that feel dirty. I remember at home when we used to have to pick potatoes in the field, hated it. When I had to pick we picked rocks all the time from the field. And I hated it because I hate that feeling of dirt. When I peel potatoes, they get sprayed wet first. Wet dirt is okay. dry dirt is not. So this dry chalky feeling is just nasty. It would be like scraping your fingers on a blackboard for some of you. So I don't want to lose that nice feel, but in order to use these, I need to take away that film. So I'm going to show you how to do that as we're stamping. Let me scoot this up here. I also wanted to show you some of the other tools that I have found to be very effective and that I'm using. So I grabbed some brand new sponge daubers that I had just bought. I needed more, and so I just dedicated the whole set of 5 to chalks. I'm also using the spatula end of my take your pick tool. I'm using that quite a bit. I took the cap off just because I'm going to be using it a lot. So you'll find that that's very helpful, or you could also use the edge of your scissors for the technique that I'm going to show you. So I'll lay those there as well. You can use your blender pen, you can use your water painter. And I will tell you that Versamark is another thing that you will definitely want to have standing by for this. Another thing that I've added, because I remember when we used chalks before, that I like to set it. Y'all know I don't like to touch chalk, so I don't like it to feel gritty or granular. So I do like to set it. So I did go up and grab my very expensive aerosol hairspray that I rarely use aerosol. And so I'm like, all right, so I'll go grab that and I'll just use it for this demo till I buy some cheap hairspray. Cheap hairspray is great for setting this. Okay. Hey, Karen, welcome. So those are, there's probably some things I forgot that I will talk about along the way, but those are some of the basic things that I've found to be helpful in using these. So let me just scoot some of this aside. And I'll scoot this up a little bit. All right. So I have quite a few projects that I've completed with it. I'm probably going to just show you the technique for each project, and then I will show you the finished project. How's that sound? Okay, so the first one, and I've done a lot of these techniques on white and also on black, just so that you could see the difference. And this one I think we would have called Poppin Pastels. And in this case, I used a stamp. I'm using the hand-penned stamp set for most of what I'm doing here. Not die cutting anything, so just using the stamp set. I pulled this one out because this is going to be my focus for my Stamps in the Mail class next month. And so I've been looking at all kinds of fun things to do with that. So I'm going to take my big stamp and I'm just going to ink that with Versamark. And we're going to just get a little bit of this on, well, most of it on here. Going to come off the bottom edge. All right. Now for this one, I want to make, well, first of all, let me explain about how you want to start your chalks off. So I told you about that smooth finish. If you look here, you might be able to see that I have already started scraping this. So I'm going to just scrape. I'm just taking one of my larger blocks and I'm going to scrape some of the bottom, a little pile of color there. That's my Daffodil Delight. Give me 1 second while I just turn these lights off because there's no use wasting those batteries. Okay. Now, I told you that I made several different colors, and because I'm using some designer paper and showing you, oh shoot, I think I forgot to bring the designer paper in here. I wanted to show you a really cute card design using DSP, because our DSP Designer Series paper is on sale coming up in the next June 1st. And I have a really cool idea, but I might be able to run out and grab that for you then. But anyways, my DSP colors are Petal Pink, Garden Green, and some Misty Moonlight. All right, so I decided to mix these two colors, Daffodil and Poppy, together in lower amounts of the poppy because I want it to just be slightly pink, okay? And then for my green, of course, we don't have a garden green, but we've got two greens. So I'm going to use a little bit of the Granny Apple Green and a little bit of the Mossy Meadow. So I'm going to use those together. And I'm trying not to make a big hole in here, so I'm trying to use different areas. And I will probably move that around. But I think I will always keep a little handle at the top to hold those by, since I hate touching that. And you don't have to do that, of course, if you don't care. I'm going to just take my sponge dauber. Going to grab these greens together, just mix them together. And I'm going to dab. I'm going to dab where I see, and it's hard with Versamark to see where your stamping is, so you've got to get in the right light. And it was called Poppin Pastels because you see how that design just pops right out there at you. Isn't that cool? I feel like there's another leaf here somewhere, but okay, we'll see that once we get the flower done. So for this, I went mostly yellow with just a touch of pink. I might just try it on there to see. That's a little pinkish. And the thing with this is you can see it does not really blend well when you're using it dry. So I'm really going to pounce it and get it mixed good there. And then I'm going to do my flowers. I'm going to do all of them in the same color. Yeah, there's the leaf I missed. I knew it would show up somewhere. It looks like I need a little more yellow there, but okay. So now I'm going to just go ahead and get some red and just get that center of those flowers a little bit pinker so that they stand out a little bit more. All right, so you see how even layering that on top of the other chalk, it still really picks up that color. I'm just going to just knock this off of here so that I can see where that leaf is that I need to get yet. All right, there we go. And if I wanted, I think on my sample, I might have even added a little bit of blue to the leaf. Just because, like I said, I'm using the Misty Moonlight as well with my designer paper. All right, now I want to show you, you can see there's little bits of chalk here and there, and that's the beauty of this. That's just part of the design. It's almost like, you know, a watercolor artist does not have to stay in the lines. I'm going to go ahead. I want to show you that first, and then I want to show you what it looks like once I've sprayed it. Okay, so let me just going to hold this over my trash can and give it a good spritz. And that's going to set it so that it doesn't rub off, so that I don't have to, it's still going to feel a little bit, what do I want to say? It's not going to feel smooth because that's not how chalk feels. But I'll be able to rub over it and not smudge it, and it's not on my finger. Okay? So that's my design piece, and then I want to show you the card. Let me just scoot that in here. So so this is the card that I did, and I learned this really cool card fold from Meg Lovin at Lovin Stamps, I believe it's called, and she uses a piece of 4" by 12" designer paper. And of course, you want to find one where you like the two designs together, the one on the back and the one on the front. You know how often you hate to cover up part of a piece of paper. Hey, Tina, welcome. So this is a way where you can show both. On the front, I get to see the one side. On the inside, I get to see the other side. How cool is that? So it's just scored, if you go like this, at 5.5 and 11. And then you have 11 would be here, and then you just fold that 1" piece back here. And for this card, I pulled out my triangle dies, just because I wanted some interest. And one of the things that she pointed out is when you use this paper, because it's lightweight, as your card, you need to make sure that you're reinforcing it. Like I'm putting this white inside of here so that it really makes the card feel more firm. And I added a lot to the front here, a lot of pieces to also make that feel nice and firm. Okay, so I use my triangles here. For the blue, for the Misty Moonlight, I used one of these, and I should have looked up my geometry before I started because I don't remember. This is a right triangle right here, so this is one of these. And then I use this piece right here. Oh, you can't see that. This edge piece to do this little piece, and I decided to go ahead and do the same thing and put that inside just to coordinate those two. So it's a little busy, but I think the colors are fun, and I love this new fold. I'm going to be playing a lot more with that. And then this is a triangle that I had made but I didn't need, and so I just used part of that for my tag. I don't know if you can see that they all have stitched edges. I just wish that this camera focused better when I got close to it, and I don't understand that, but okay, so that's that one, and that was Poppin Pastels on white. The next one that I want to do is also Poppin Pastels, but we're going to play with it on black, and I'm going to use another stamp from that set, and that's this one. So I'm going to actually stamp it a couple of times. I decided once I started playing with this that I really liked, it's a very, what do I want to say, a muted look for how I did it. And so I decided that I wanted the whole piece covered. It's going to be a little tricky when I figure out which parts are flowers and which aren't. So let's do the flowers first. And the flower I did in the Coastal Cabana. So let's get a little bit of that here. We definitely need more yellow. And I even like to mix these two yellows together. Let me see where my scraped part is. And then let's see, what other colors did I use? It's, like I said, it's very muted. I used some green, so we have our green here. All right, so I wanted to start with the flower while I can still see it. This light does not help at all. Once you get started, the design sort of pops out at you. Do you see how that's coming out? The problem with black is this chalk is opaque. So unlike our ink colors, which are, they are see-through, this is opaque, so it's going to stand out on black. So that's what makes it really cool. And just trying to get all of the, okay, I think I got all the flower there. Maybe, oh no, I missed one there. Okay, and then I'm going to come in here with some of the green and do the stem and the leaves. Sorry, it was easier out in my other light than this one. This one's so bright that it's really hard to see. I'm gonna put, whoops, put a little bit more. I think this is flower here. Yeah. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and fill in the rest with the green. I don't really care if it's a leaf or a flower. Okay. Did we get anything there? Hopefully I got everything. It looks like a big mess right now. Now what I found, oh, I forgot this little flower here. I wanted to do that in yellow, but I've already gotten a lot of color on it. Got some yellow and red in there. That looks pretty cool. And I'm just going to see if I missed anything up here. Okay, so it looks a mess right now. I'm hoping that it's going to look better in a second, but this really showed up here well. I'm surprised at how well that showed up with the blue. And I'm so upset. Let me see if more light helps this to focus better. Is that any better? Okay. All right. I just had a pop-up on my phone. It was really sad. I'm sorry. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm holding this over my trash can, and I'm going to just give it a good spray. And I don't do a lot at once because I don't want to soak it. I really want to give it time to sink in. And I just look at it and go like, does that need a little bit more there or there? Okay, so hoping that in this light you will be able to see that. You see how it just looks like a magical design in the background. Okay, I'm not going to be able to get you to see all of the colors. The greens are not showing up as much. I probably should have put a little bit more yellow in with the green. I probably used too much of the dark. The darker colors do not show up well on black. It takes a lot of color, especially the purple, the blue, and the green, the mossy meadow, and the night of navy. So I should have probably just stayed with the granny apple green. Let me see if on my card that I did, if you can see the color better. So let's see if I can get the lighting good here. It's probably even worse. I did get a picture of it, and it turned out really good, so I will post that so you can see. When I turn it this way, you're just seeing, well, you're seeing some of it, but you're not seeing the color. You're just seeing the raised image where the chalk is sitting, but there you can see it a little bit. Okay. Hey, Linda, welcome. All right, so that is Poppin Pastels on white and on black. And of course, you can do it on black and any dark color, so it doesn't have to just be black. All right. I also did Poppin Pastels. I'm not going to show that one. I did Poppin Pastels on an embossed image. Okay. I didn't make a card with it. And you can probably see, if I get it at the angle where I had the other one, you can see a little bit of yellow there, but you can see how it colored the embossed image, and it will do that. Remember, the ink is see-through, translucent, I guess would be the word, but chalk is opaque, so therefore it's going to stick to your embossed image. So I thought that was a sort of cool look. I know that you really can't see the colors, but I've got some blue here, greens here, yellows here. And then I actually just took the corner of the nice sharp corner, and of course they won't always be sharp, but I actually wrote the thanks with the chalk. I actually wrote it in Granny Apple Green, and then I just touched it up with a little bit of Coastal Cabana. All right, so I'm not going to show that one, but I am going to emboss, excuse me, with white, and I'm going to show you how to watercolor with the chalks. So let me get my things here. We're going to stamp this, so let me use my sponge dauber on here. We're going to ink with Versamark. And going to stamp that. Add some powder. All right, and then we're going to heat that. Let me just grab a piece of cardboard here, and we can just heat right on that, so don't mind the noise. Takes a second to heat up. There we go. Oops. The second you let your hand off of it, it's going to slide away. There we go. All right, so I keep dumping this excess chalk in my lap. My skirt will look a mess till I'm done. Okay, so I'm going to actually turn this into a palette. Again, I think we're okay with our yellow there, so I'm just going to wipe this green off just so we don't mix those. I need Coastal Cabana. Just remember, I'm coloring on black, so I'm going to stay with the lighter colors because we all know how that turned out, right? I need my yellow. I'm going to put a little bit more yellow on here because we need a lot of that. And then my greens, I am going to, start with this, and if I need, I'll add some of the darker green. Okay, so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take my water painter, and I'm going to actually squeeze some water onto here. Now, I wanted to try alcohol because alcohol would dry faster, and I forgot to grab that. So you could use alcohol here instead of water. All right, now these do stain, so I'm going to grab my old aqua painter. And I'm going to go ahead and mix this water into here to make the water wash. I'm going to go ahead and put that red in there because that'll make it nice. Just wipe that off here. And I usually have a paper towel, and I do not, so it'll be on here. Mix the green together. So basically, I'm just making a little ink palette right here on my block with the chalk. And like I said before, you can get any color pretty much that you want by mixing the colors there together. Okay, so now I'm ready to color. And I found that what I like with this is just to take a brush and do little brush marks because you can see those brush marks when you're done. And I love that look. So that's just what became my preference. You see those cool lines in there. And I will be able to come back and add more. If it's got too much water, then I can add, I can just go over it again and add another layer. And that will bring the opacity out in the blue, and it'll show up a little bit more. But I will go ahead and do, the little flowers here in blue. And they're tiny, so I'm not going to worry too much about the brush strokes. I just get them colored in. All right. And these flowers don't all really have an edge to them, so it's a little tricky to get, to fill them in good. So I might wait till it's dry and come back and see if I need to fill them in a little bit more. While I'm doing blue, I'm going to go ahead and come back here because I know I want some more. I want this to be a really vibrant color. And it's just hard to use less water because to get it mixed, you need plenty of water. But then, like I said, it tends to decrease the opacity a little bit. So, but you can see how that second coat is really starting to cover up the black. Isn't that cool? Let's see. Let's go ahead and clean that off. And then I'm going to come in and do the yellow flowers here. And I'm not worried about going over the white embossing too much because it's wet. it's not going to stick to that white embossing as much as it did with the last technique where I showed you dabbing on the dry powder. Definitely did stick to the white, whereas this doesn't as much. Okay. All right, I have a question that you guys can answer for me. How many of you have seen the pastels in the catalog? Because they're definitely a hidden product. So I'd love to know how many of you have seen it in there. And maybe how many of you have ordered it already. Maybe some of you are playing with it already. Good, guys. I'm excited that you like this. Okay, I'm going to put some more yellow here. You see how that builds up? That color just really builds up on there. I am in love with this technique. Okay. All right, let's go to the green and get the leaves done. I think I'm going to need more green. There's a lot of leaves. It's definitely very noticeable if you miss a spot. If you think that this doesn't show up, you miss a spot, you realize very quickly. Okay, maybe I'll have enough. It's actually showing up pretty good. I'm surprised that I might not need another coat. It'd be enough to just go over it a little bit. All right, so two of you say you saw them, and didn't. Yeah, I think it was very easy to go like, what is that? You know, what can you do with that? And so I'm glad I got them, but I'm really happy that there were some other demonstrators who played with them first, and I could get a few pointers. I've watched quite a few, and seriously, I've only picked out a couple techniques that you can do with these, just because we don't have all night. But how gorgeous is that, right? Oh, now that almost was in focus. I wonder what I'm doing wrong. There we go. See how it goes in focus for a second and then it goes out. There we go. I'm glad you guys like that. You think you need them now? All right, now I want the center to be really bright, so I decided to go ahead and just take the chalk and take it right to the black paper and add it right to the center so that I would have lots of color there. You see how much darker that is than where I watercolored that. Okay, so I think it's ready to be sprayed. And the only reason that I'm spraying it pretty much is because of what I just put on there. Although this is still very chalky, and I think it's not coming up too bad. I don't think I would necessarily need to spray it, but because I put that chalk there, I definitely want it to. It does look like chalk paint, exactly. I think that's why I love it so much. Okay, so there's just with a little bit of spray, so that center will be held down. All right, so you want to see the card I did with it? So I took this and I used I do want to show you. I just got to give a plug for the gingham ribbon that we carry, and I'm so happy that it carries over because it looks really pretty with this yellow. This is Bumblebee, and the color that I used there was Bumblebee, and I'm going to just cut a length of this here and hope I cut it long enough. And I just took it around here. On my card, I actually messed up the leaf, and I did it several times when I stamped that leaf, and so I'm not sure what was wrong with it. It looked okay, and my technique must have been bad. So I tied my ribbon right around here. And this is definitely easier if you have it on your card first, but I want to put it around before I put it on my card. So Linda, I sprayed it with aerosol hairspray. Sorry. It's what we used to do with our chalks when we had them. So I just pulled that out again. See how pretty that looks? Love that ribbon. Okay, so here's the card. I was holding you off. Here's the card. So I used Bermuda Bay, Coastal Cabana, and of course the Bumblebee ribbon. And then I added our clear and silver epoxy elements. So I added some of the diamonds there. I'm going to see if I can get this focused again. I'm not sure why. It fights with me. Anyways, I will be posting these. I did take pictures of everything so that I can post them all and you can see them much better. All right, so I have a couple more. Let me just see if I can get through these quickly so I'm not keeping you forever. So the next one that I'm doing, I'm just trying to think here how I'm coordinating these. So I watercolored with on black. I'm going to watercolor on white next. So we're going to stamp it. Imagine we're going to stamp it in Versamark even though we're watercoloring. And I'm amazed that it worked. I just thought, well, I'm going to try this, and sure enough, I did not have any trouble with the color, with the black running, and maybe it's because of the chalk. Now, of course, I didn't, you know, try to go over the edges too much, but there we go. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing that I just did. Let me get some more color here. You guys are going to love this. It is so much fun scraping this stuff off. You feel like you're an artist making your palette. And you are. This one, because we're not on black, I definitely want it to be a little darker, so I'm going to put some dark in with that. And again, I want my blue Coastal Cabana, and I definitely want some Poppy Parade. Don't need a lot of that, and I want a little bit of the navy. Okay, so there I've got my little palettes going, and going to come back and add my water from this, just so that I'm not using up my water from my aqua painter. Whoops, that was way too much water. And there might be enough water there. All right, let's start off with the yellow since we're using a lot of that. And I'm going to just, yeah, I should have put a little more water on there. It's very, very strong, which is awesome, right? We just love bright colors. And I am trying to not get on the black as much as I can. However, I have a trick that I think is a bomb. When we add the hairspray to it, even if we've covered this black, and you'll see it's chalky, so, and it's opaque, so it will cover up our black lines. But I found that when I add the hairspray at the end, it really helps those black lines to reappear. And I remembered that from using pastels before. And you definitely want your black lines to show. The other thing that I figured that you could do, if you felt like your black lines did not show enough, is if we stamp this on this Stamparatus, did what I'm doing now, stuck it back in the Stamparatus and stamped the same black design on top, I think that would do. Check out these lines in here. Are they not cool? I'm loving this. This is just, and I think they're really showing up because I have this really pasty here and didn't add more water to it. So it's really layering on top of itself a little bit and creating a really cool look. I'm really excited that you guys are here with me tonight and having fun with me, because this has just been awesome. I'm going to have hours worth of work later to get ready for my helpers coming tomorrow to prep for classes this month. But I've been playing with this all day because I'm like, I want to show them some cool ideas tonight. Okay. I am going to add, I'm going to go ahead and get some of this pink here, or the red. That's not strong enough because it has way too much water on it. Let me put some down here. I just want to pick it up with my wet brush. I don't want it to be very wet because I want to put it in here. Okay, and I think I'm going to go ahead. This is a pretty big opening here. We'll just put a little bit there. Okay, now I just need to get rid of some color here. Look at all that gorgeous color. Hate to waste it. Okay, so next I'm going to come in and do my blue flowers. I think I'm doing all of these blue here. I got a lot of water here on this one, so they'll be a little bit lighter. But that's okay. I want my yellow to show up the most, I think. It really is so easy to fill these in. Of course, the stamp set makes it easy too. All right, so there's my blue, and I'm going to add just a touch of navy to the centers. So I'm just picking up a little bit of this color right here where it doesn't even have water. And I'm just going to touch around the edge a little bit. Doing this while it's still wet so it can blend in a little bit. There we go. Okay, let me wipe that off again. And we just need to do our leaves yet. So let's mix this up here, see what color we get. I think that I would not mind having a little bit more Mossy Meadow. And I don't care if it isn't completely mixed because it'll give us a variegated look, and that's okay. Let me turn this around so I can pull it and get that nice. Now this is not going to be, the lines aren't going to be as noticeable because I have more water in this. But also the black was noticeable just because of the nature of black cardstock and the opacity of the chalk. So, but I think I want some shading in this, so I might come back with another layer of the green. See how beautiful that's turning out? I'm so excited. Okay, let me just grab a little green right here. I'm just going to do on the sides here where the shading is. You can see how when the brush isn't as wet, it really gives you more color. Okay, so there we go. Now, I will tell you, when you're putting chalk on wet with Versamark or with this or with alcohol, you cannot erase it. But if you're coloring with it, just I'm not coloring with it very much normal, actually, because I could have used sponge daubers to fill that in. I didn't. Like I said, there's so many other things that I'm not even showing you tonight. But if you were putting chalk on, just if I was sponging this on or sponging an outline, I could erase it with a regular adhesive eraser. It would take it off as long as you haven't put it on wet. Once it's wet, it becomes part of the design. Okay. Do you want to see the card done with this one? Okay, let me answer some questions here real quick. Thank you guys for your comments. So Linda, how long does it take to dry? The black one that I just did, it looks maybe slightly wet yet. It doesn't feel wet. Like I would go ahead and glue this on my card. But dry enough that I can touch it. Okay, so the paper is just a little bit needs to dry yet. This one is dry enough to touch already. okay? And you can see the paper is still a little bit wet there. I am going to go ahead and set this. Oh, I'm hoping that I can show you, that you can, excuse me, see the difference. Really mad at this lighting. I don't know why this is doing, why it will not focus. I don't think it's the lighting. But if you look at the center of the yellow flowers, if that's a good point to look at, actually none of it looks really bad, but actually it's the lines here on the flowers, because I went over them. They're really, really light. And I apologize. I know this camera is not allowing you to see that. But I'm going to give that a squirt with hairspray. Again, using aerosol, because non-aerosol would give me way too much wetness. I needed it to go on as a film. And so I don't know if you can see the difference, but those black lines have just totally reappeared. And it didn't do much else to the chalk. It just left my lines. So what it did was probably take it into the paper and left my lines show again. Okay, so I'm going to say aerosol hairspray is the bomb. It's something that you definitely want to have when you're doing this. I'm going to just use my chamois here, and looks like I'm making a mess on my mat. Chalk is very, very messy. Easy to clean, but messy. Okay, all right, so here's the card I did with that. And I used the paste, the embosser that's like the paste. I can't remember what it's called, guys. I used our black glitter ribbon, and then I still wanted more. I still wanted more glitter, so I used our, I don't think I brought that in. I used our wide, it came from Halloween last year, and we still carry it. And it's so beautiful on so many things. Those of you that were on my team Zoom the other night, you saw I used this for in the water for some extra pizzazz when we did our diorama card. But anyways, so there's that card done with the watercolor on white. And you can see the difference here in my coloring where I had my, my yellow was much thicker. See, here's the water wash. So it's a different look. It's not terrible, but this one's definitely much brighter and has more of the brush designs in it. Okay, so one more that I came up with just a few seconds before I went live. And that is, well, I want to do Poppin Pastels again, but I want to show you how to just do a couple colors, and we're finished with this wet thing. So I'm going to wipe that off because I need this for some dry powder. And I'm going to do our thanks from, actually, I'm not going to do that one. Let me see what time. Yeah, I'm not going to do that part because I showed you the Poppin Pastels. I will just, I want to show you direct, pretty much direct to paper. And we're going to use, put my colors back on here again. And what do I want? Yellow, some yellow, daffodil, and some granny apple green. So I'm very excited about these colors. I think these are all, I can't even say if they're all brights. But they're colors I really love to use, so I'm excited about them. And I'm trying to think how I did this. Oh, I didn't even do that part. I did it like this. I took this where I had scraped off and I went directly onto my embossed image. Basically for this one, it's like antiquing it, right? How cool is that? I hadn't tried this one yet. So this was a, like, I hope this works when I get on camera with them. And I'm pretty happy with how it's turning out. This would look really pretty with darker colors and, you know, to look really antiqued. But these bright colors are pretty too. So this is direct chalk to paper. Look at that. Oh, how gorgeous is that? Oh my goodness. I love it. Now, for this, you definitely need to spray it. And I've tried this. I tried using sponge daubers on it, but the paper grabs everywhere. And it's because the chalk is so dry, when you have it in this powder form, it doesn't want to stay. It goes everywhere. It goes into all the grooves. So this direct to paper with these pastels is just fabulous. Probably the technique that I'll use the most, because how fast was that? And how, I know it's probably too bright to even see how gorgeous it is. Let me see if I turn the light down a little bit. You can see how pretty that is. All right, let me give a little squirt and then I'll show you the card. All right, and now that's all set. It's all good to go. And this is the card that I did. And I told you I didn't use this embossing folder yet. I used the little flower one. And I used the Poppin Pastel technique here with Versamark. And then I just dabbed on, I used the sponge dauber with the color and just dabbed on the color so that it says thanks. Very simple, quick card. But I do love how this turned out. And I did this one first because I thought this would be my favorite, but this one actually turned out to be my favorite. These flowers are a little down in the center, so they didn't want to catch the powder or the chalk as much. But this one, that's my favorite. So I will get that mounted on something, and I will try to post that with the other pictures that I'll be posting. So thank you guys for joining me. I really appreciate you all being here. It really makes my night when there's so many of you, and I appreciate all your comments. If I missed any questions, I will go back and I will answer those for you if I can. And looks like I knocked my camera messed up. Anyways, please share this video with your friends who craft. Because I don't know. I think they're the bomb, and I hope that you enjoyed them. So thank you guys. Thanks, Karen. I appreciate you guys. Take care. God bless.